Good morning, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a beautiful, beautiful Monday morning on the west coast of England. We are on the Smoothhound hunt. I've got yet another day off work, which is ideal. Been to the Lake District for the weekend with me family for my old man's 70th. A very nice time, did a bit of walking, went up to the Langdale area, Crinkle Crags, if anyone likes the lakes and is into that sort of thing. Really lucky with the weather, it was absolutely beautiful. So thoroughly enjoyed it. But had a good opener to the summer Northumberland cod season. On Friday just gone. Again, had the day off work because I managed to get a session in before I came over here on Friday. What it has meant though is that I did have me sort of polystyrene cool box that you get, I don't know, you know, like bait shops and frozen food firms use, and all my crabs were alive, but they were quite well on, and I've done what I can to keep them alive, but unfortunately I've taken a few casualties. So, and the problem was with us being out all day on Saturday walking, when I got back I think some of them had already been dead a while, so they weren't smelling particularly good. So I've got a couple though that are still alive, and I think this fella in my hands probably he has died, but he hasn't been dead for that long. He's not too bad, so I'm hoping bait wise I haven't turned up with a load of substandard bait. It's possible, but of course I was over there, my mum, dad, my brother and his wife, so there was absolutely no chance of putting live crabs in the fridge next to champagne and birthday cake, I'm afraid. But we'll do what we can. So I'll be using crab for bait for hounds. Yeah, this guy isn't in great condition, but he'll definitely put out plenty of scent. It'll just depend on how picky the fish want to be. If there's lots of them, which I hope there is, you never know, I might get lucky and I might just eat first and think later, but we'll find out in due course, I'm sure. So this is quite a decent sized crab, as you can see. He's very well on, peeling really easily. Just taking all the hard bits off. Shell, there's like a little bit kind of in the front there, you can just see that goes out. Gills, I've said this before, I'm not massively fussed about thinking the gills are poisonous. I mean, the amount of cod that you gut with whole crabs in them certainly kind of proves that point. Can't prove that with a smoothhound. I've never killed one, never gutted one, so I don't know. But the reason I take them off is because they've got a little bit of kind of shelly type cartilage that just holds the gills in place against the rest of the organ. So I just take those off purely because it's less chance of something masking the hook. And believe it or not, on a bait this size, I'm going to cut it about 2/3 up from front to back like that. Then I'm going to cut it the slightly larger bit across, and I'll actually get, including a bit of leg, 3 baits out of that. So get your claw, leg like that. Couple more, just place those across the kind of open part of the crab. Get your elastic. Just bind the whole lot up. Back down. The tide, it's a pretty big tide today. Said it before, you don't need big baits for hounds. Something small that you can punch out a good distance. On the rig wise that we're using, I'll show you one that's not got any bait on first. We've got a very short, probably a couple of foot max pulley, 80-pound rig body, splashdown, 7-ounce sinker because it's a big tide, bead, power swivel, £100 bead, another £100 power swivel, £50 amnesia, and on the business end I've scaled the hooks up a bit to what I would ordinarily fish with. We've got a 4-0 Mustard Viking ultra sharp, ultra point on the bottom, and we've got a Mustard ultra sharp ringed Chinook 5-0 on the top, and that's attached with a knotless knot system. And I'll use that, basically that hook will stand completely proud of the bait, and your bottom hook is essentially just a bit of a bait holder really, because 9 times out of 10 for hounds it's that top hook that'll do the damage, and with a knotless knot you get a direct contact. Usually I'd probably go a little bit smaller, 2-3-0, maybe a 4-0, but there have been some reports of some pretty big fish getting caught recently, so I thought I'd just scale up a little bit. I'm using very short pulleys, so you get an instant hook up, the bite register straight away, and hopefully we can put that into practice. Now, you might have seen 1 or 2 videos recently. Have had 1 hound of the year, albeit it was just a juvenile, so have kind of broken the duck, but I'd really love to get something that was kind of double figures ideally. So you can see what I'm doing there, just feeding that up, pulling it over the knot. So I'm using splashdown. Sometimes I like to use an imp, but I've gone for splashdowns this time. So that's the rig clipped up. Whoops. As you can see, very, very short. I've had a couple of practice casts, and about once a year I get horrendous back trouble where all of a sudden it feels like a nerve's just gone. And I've just cast before and it's happened, but it seems to have calmed down, so I'm just going to have to take it a little bit easy on the casting front, because I can feel that it's like potentially ready to just go again, which is an absolute nightmare, but fingers crossed we'll be all right. Right, let's get this out. Well, out of absolutely nowhere, wind's picked up. It's gone from probably 3-4 mile an hour to 15, 18, something like that. It's coming due west, so it's coming right in my face, which is going to knock the casting distance off. Not ideal when I'm already a little bit reluctant to really hit them hard with my back, so all of a sudden this could start to prove to be a bit of a challenging session. Fortunately though, we've got another 2.5 hours of tide to come in, so I will have a decent amount of depth straight in front of us, so hopefully that works in my favour. But what I've noticed when I first got down here, there was a big sort of gully coming left, right, and I've cast more or less just a bit to my left, thinking that the current will push my gear that way and into a bit of a hole that I saw. But actually what it's done, it's taken it round and pushed it up that gully, up that way, which I'm not sort of massively confident about, because the way the current's going, any scent will be taken down there to the end of the gully, which is only just started to fill up. So I really wanted going that way where there was a bit more depth, but I'm going to give this another 5. First cast, at least I've known and sort of sussed that out early when there's less depth. So next cast I'll put it a lot further to the right and hopefully get a bit more into that channel that I spotted earlier. But as I say, the wind's coming almost straight into my face, so it's not going to make life too easy, but we'll just have to wear it. So the gear I'm using today is my Shimano Aero Technium 14,000 XSC. That's teamed up with my trusty Ziplex HST, and I've got my reel loaded with very, very thin 35 pound ASSO Evergreen 8-strand braid. And that's got an 80-pound 4-strand braid leader tied with a 10-turn uni knot. And that thinner braid will just help us cut through the wind and get a bit more distance. We've been 35, it's obviously still strong enough to give us a chance to pull out the snags and stuff. I have to be careful of this back of mine. Well, all of a sudden this session is going to go from looking to being quite a nice relaxed few hours to a bit of a session requiring a lot of patience. The wind's picked up, it's just increasing. You probably see the sea here, it's getting quite choppy, it's starting to creep up on us. I've just pulled in so much weed where I've just had to cut my leader and just pull it off. I would have wasted half an hour trying to pick it off. So I think what I'm going to have to do, if there's going to be this much weed, I'm going to have to cast a little bit shorter and leave me bait in for less time just to give it a bit of a chance, but it's not looking good all of a sudden. But anyway, let's try and get this next bait out and just see if we can salvage something, because this is I can feel me back twinging as well. I'm just going to overhead this, I'm not going to blast it. It's all getting quite yeah, this is a bit of a shame, because I was really looking forward to this session, but it's turning into a bit of a nightmare, unfortunately. So I've only put that probably, I don't know, 60-70 yards in the hope that I can try and avoid that weed. How much of a chance that gives us of a hound, I don't know. Probably less, but you never know. What I am thinking though, with it being quite choppy and stirred up, you never know, it might attract a bass close in. Such a shame. I was really kind of got down here, thought, right, great, not a breath of wind, tide's just creeping in, and it's probably like a 2-foot swell now just crashing into here. And to make life more difficult, I haven't got my wader, so I'm going to start getting a bit swamped round here, because we've still got about an hour and a half till high water. So I'm just going to have to be a little bit careful. Sometimes what you can't find in venues where there's a lot of weed, it can be terrible at certain stages of the tide, then all of a sudden it eases off. But days like today, my only strategy is to just cast short and leave your gear out for less time, because otherwise you're just going to run into all sorts of trouble. And you can see here, this is what I'm competing with. It's awful stuff. It's just really like, I mean, that's actually a bit of twine or something, I don't know. What a nightmare, eh? Really thought I might have scored for a canny little session, but it's not looking likely. What a difference a change in tide can make. I fished relentlessly all day in this howling wind. Tide's ebbed, and as soon as that weed has backed off, straight away I've just had 2 fish in quick succession. Unfortunately, it was so hectic. I nearly packed up. I didn't even have the gear running properly, so you probably haven't been able to hear anything, but first fish just gave us a really small tentative bite, wound in, struck it, and then it started really scrapping quite hard. Got it in a pool, got another bait out, unhooked it, looked up, and my line was basically on the rocks here, so straight away got into another one. And it's the weed today has been horrific, but as soon as that weed's eased, bang, the fish have been there. But the problem I've got now is that the tide, it's a big tide, it's ebbing really rapidly, so I don't know how much time I'm going to have. I do know that there's a fairly large hole in front of us and there's a gully here, but I don't know, it might have just been those 2 fish just as that weed's eased, but you never know. Hopefully you might get another one, but I'm really pleased because I was, got to admit, I was pretty disheartened at one point. I was just sick of just casting, pulling weed off, and then got into a couple of fish. The first one was a good one as well. I didn't wait, I just wanted to get it back safely, but the first one put up a really good scrap. I've changed to mono as well, because with the braid before, the tide was just so powerful, so I thought, no, I'm going to switch over to braid, switch over to mono, just to give myself a bit more control, and it's done the damage, so happy about that. But as I say, I'm losing water rapidly here now, so, and I could already see some white water where the sandbar comes out, so I'll be lucky if I get another one, I think, now. But I'm happy I've had a couple. That's the main thing. Well, that was, I don't quite know how to describe that session, to be honest. It was challenging, definitely challenging. The wind, virtually the second I started fishing, picked up. It was forecast to be about up to 12 mile an hour. It was more like 25. Sea got up, it was massive, well, massive for where I was fishing. Casting into the wind the entire day, which was massively reducing my distance. Weed was a bit of a problem. I nearly chucked it around about high water, and I thought, no, I'm going to keep going. And fortunately I hit those 2 fish, which was very satisfying. They were pretty hard earned. Obviously then had the issue with me back early doors after one practice cast. Just twinged. I can still feel it now. I can tell I'm going to be in pain tomorrow, so that was a bit challenging as well. But a couple of hounds, one particularly nice one, definitely the best I've had in a long time. Got another one straight away, that was good. Tried for a bit longer, but there was nothing doing. Wind just didn't let up. Loads more weed as the tide was ebbing, but managed to get a couple of fish. One nice hound, best of the season so far. So all in all it was enjoyable, but challenging as well. So as always, thanks very much for watching. Leave a comment, subscribe, hit the like button, it's always appreciated. So hope you've been out and about catching a few fish. Till the next one, tight lines, keep fishing. We'll see you soon.